All right, good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, September 29th. We're going to get right into this because there's a lot to cover, and I don't want this to be a super long video. All right, we're looking at the Continental Division, the four teams that are in the eastern side. We're going to start right off with the Blue Ridge Bobcats last year, 16, 33, and 7, 50 points, 6th in the Continental. It was a tough year, first year team in a first year market, really. And as the year went on, there was a lot of loyalty, fan loyalty built up. This team is heading in the right direction. All right, the forward group. Let's touch on them real quick. You got Nikita Ivashkin, 118 goals scored in 3 years. Now, last year was a down year. He only had 27 goals, but I think he can bounce back this year. Hunter Hall had a couple SP call-ups last year. In the time he spent with the Bobcats, he had 23 points in 37 games. Very speedy winger. Really helps set up a lot of plays. And then you have Jacob Wolf, real heart and soul kind of guy. 18 goals in 48 games played last year. That was his best offensive season last year. I don't know if that trend continues, but he does all the little things well. So that's his main contribution to the team. We've got a lot of other people trying out for a forward position on this team. Dmitry Salyutin, Nicholas McHugh, he's back. Joel Frizzy battled injuries last year. He's back, hopefully healthy. You got other players trying for forward spot like Andrew Uturo, Darius Davidson, Max Zanovitz, Justin Renace, Austin Bellafuil. If he signs Sotirios Karageorgis, there's a lot of talent here. There's also a lot of talent that is currently up in the SP camps. We'll get to that in a minute. On the blue line, Daniel Klinicki, that signing is gigantic. Klinicki has been playing the last 4 years in Europe. The 1 year he had in the Fed with the Carolina Thunderbirds, which was the 2019 to 2020 season, 60 points in 48 games. This is a difference maker. All right, not just offensively, but also in the defensive zone too. He is an excellent defenseman. He was defenseman of the year in that 1 year. Jackson Bohan, he returns. The team was really big on him and his development last year. Really liked what they saw. Very highly regarded. You also have Matthew Ernst signing back. Some other players that could be competing for a spot include Alex Nowinski, Tanner Coleman, Dennis Radchenko, Jacob Stahl. And like I said, there's a lot of people in the SP. In goal, it seems to be their strength. Connor Green had a great year last year. Don't let the win-loss record fool you. He was 6-20-4, but he had a shutout. The team last year gave up a lot of shots. And so the fact that he had a sub-4 goals against average really was a testament as to his quality of play. He's going to be the number one guy, I think. Liam Murray, he's most likely going to be the backup. And then, of course, the team just traded for Hunter Verostic, who right now is in the SP with the Roanoke Railroad Dogs. But if something doesn't pan out in Roanoke, it would be huge if he was able to be in between the pipes for the Bobcats. Owen Liskowitz is not going to be playing for this next year. He's going back to school. That's his plan. So just to clarify that. But there is a lot of talent that's missing currently that's up in the SP. Verostic, you have Carson Andrioli, you have Stephen Ford on the blue line, Daniel Martin, Vladislav Vlasov, you have Mathieu Boilard, Philippe Havlak, Tristan Sim, all these players up in the SP right now. If a couple or all of these guys come back, this team's going to be stacked. All right. I would expect that some of these players probably will stick in the SP. But right now, there's tons of talent on call up. So a lot depends on who's here, who's not. Um, Last year, very competitive team. Even though they didn't get the wins, they were tough to play against. The biggest need last year was a finisher, someone who could give you 30, 35 goals. Um, is Ivashkin going to return to that form? We will see. Maybe somebody else comes back down from the SP and steps up and fills in that role, like Daniel Martin. We will see. Uh, Strong goaltending. That's a hot commodity in the Fed this year. So the fact that the Bobcats have their goaltending situation shored up is huge. Um, Looking ahead to this upcoming year, I could see them finishing as high as third, depending on how things develop and how things fall into place. Again, the Continental Division is extremely tough. They could bottom out, not bottom out, but they could finish seventh and still be better than three teams in the Empire Division. Uh, you never know. Most likely, I have them slotted in my picks as the fifth place team, which would be the second wild card playing that play-in game. All right, next we have the Athens Rock Lobsters. Very unusual team. We don't even have a full roster yet. We're 2 weeks away from the season, and they don't even have 20 guys on the roster right now. So we'll go with what we know because there's a lot of unknowns with this team. Forwards, you have Justin Portillo, who's played 185 games. He's also played 97 games in the SP. You have Chris Hunt, 43 games in the SP. He's played in the Fed. He's also played in the MIHL. Last year, he played in the MIHL. He's a real X factor. We don't know what we're going to get from him, but he's pretty much a lock for this team, I think. Philip Virgili. He's played 113 games in the SP, hasn't played in the Fed yet. 56 points in his career. I think you'll probably see him on the roster. You got some other players that are in place. You have Kaysen Gallant. Basically anyone who's a rookie is making this team because of the point slotting system. All right, so you got Kaysen Gallant. You have Danila Glukharov, George Issa, and Danila Zemayev. The fact that you have these rookies that are basically forced to be in the roster makes this a very hard team to gauge. All right. There's a lot of players that are possibly going to be coming in, but we'll see. On the blue line, you have Joey Kolatarsi, who's one of the first signees with the team. He split his career between the ECHL and the SP. He's going to be looked at for blue line leadership. You have Tucker Firth coming in. Riley Robertson is probably going to be a member of this team. Rookie Matthew Garcia. You have I hope I can say this name right. Vladimir Zapoznikov. I believe that's how you say it. He's a Russian. Carter Shinkarik. He is kind of the face of the franchise at this point. 134 points in 115 games in the Fed. He's played 159 games in the SP as well. He's got a lot of experience. In goal, you've got two goalies on the roster. Jared Stahel, who is a rookie from the Indiana University of Pennsylvania, had a standout career there. And Josh Rosenvig, who played with the Watertown Wolves last year, going 4-8-1. 427 goals against, 895 save percentage. Players that you are not going to see on the roster come opening day. I about 99% on most of these guys. Well, Colin Fitzgerald, he's retired. Josh Keplinger, I've heard rumors he's probably going to be retired as well. Other players that haven't signed that got drafted, Nick DeNicola, Troy Murray. Right now he's signed, but he's probably going to be playing Birmingham. Malik Johnson, he's up in the SP. Colby Johnson, he's playing in Pensacola. Probably not going to be seeing these guys. So this is a very enigmatic team. In their philosophy, they want all this experience, but can they field this team? Can they put this product on ice? As far as permanence, it's going to be very tough. You got all these players. You're pushing the points cap. You're not going to have a lot of the continuity on this team, and that could hurt them. They're going to have a minimal roster going into camp. They're not going to have 30 guys trying out for a position. There could be a blue line crisis. It could be in the FPHL. The problem is this team seems to be more interested in being a farm team for ECHL clubs, which are also owned by the same ownership group that owns Athens, than they are in being a part of the FPHL culture. So it's really hard to pick them. Currently not a full roster right now. They're at 15, and camp starts in a few days. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens with this club. And of course, they're starting their season. They're not even playing a home game until December 6th. Because the arena is not yet ready. So these guys got a long road trip ahead of them, which could work to their advantage as far as kind of uniting and drawing together. We'll see. The objective of this team is to have a very experienced team. So I could see them finishing as high as second. I could also see them finishing seventh in a 17 division. I'm going to be optimistic here. I'm going to pencil them in for third. All right. So, again, very enigmatic. It's very hard to get a real good feel on the team. Carolina. All right. Last year, 40, 12, and 4, 116 points. Second in the Continental. Columbus had a knockout year, and yet Carolina was able to hang in there, get past Port Huron in the playoffs, get past Columbus in the playoffs, ended up winning a tremendous series, and then losing 3 straight to the Binghamton Black Bears in the finals. Second straight year that they've gone to the finals. Carolina, one of the most successful teams in the Fed. And they're a little bit enigmatic at this moment, too, because every year they're very late in announcing their signings. So let's go through this as far as players we know we have and players that you're going to see in the lineup. John Batista, he's the captain. This is his final season. He's already announced that this is it. This is his last go-around. 226 games played, 270 points in his Fed career. Boots has been a fantastic asset to Carolina. Joe Cangelosi is back after a couple of years away from the team. 168 games played in the Fed, and 143 of those are with Carolina. He'll be a big addition. Zach Horn is signed. He's coming in. Roman Kramer's coming back. Jacob Schnapp, one of the most underappreciated and misunderstood guys in the Fed. Everybody looks at him as, as a rat, as a troublemaker, whatever you want to call it. But this is a guy that he's a Selke kind of guy, meaning he's one of the best 200-foot players in the league. He plays well on defense. He plays well in every situation, power play, shorthanded situations. He chips in goals. He can score. He's got 104 points in 3 years, so you can't sleep on him. He's going to be a big part of the team once again. Other players, trying out for a forward position are Danik Druin, Matt Peterson, and Josh Norman. We are waiting to see if these players sign and return. Dawson Baker, Gus Ford, Nate Keeley, Peter Panachek, Yuri Pistuka. It's probably going to be last minute. Probably not going to be seeing them signed until maybe next week. and then bam, you'll see some names. On the blue line, Joseph Kennedy is back. He provides a lot of toughness. Um, he's a plus 18 last year. He's going to be on the top pairing, no doubt. Lane King, um, Carolina went and got him. Obviously, big offensive contributor, really likes to pinch up and play in the offensive setup as well. As a power play quarterback kind of guy. 179 assists in 174 Fed games. Gordon Whalen, he's back. He'll be playing a full season this year. And then we're also waiting on seeing if these guys sign. James Farmer and Clay Keeley. Right now, they need some more defensemen. All right, they're a little shorthanded in that department. Mario Cavallari, he is signed once again. Last 2 years, he's gone 41, 10, and 4, a 266 goals against, a 918 save percentage. He's really one of the top goaltenders in the league. Samuel Best is signed. His rights are held, but he is currently with Quad City Storm in the SP. Jan Salak is also there. So those are two players that really kind of need. I understand there's another goalie that is probably going to be signed in the next few days. So we will see. Again, they're always late with signings. It's the Carolina way. It just happens. And then the last minute, they put together this team, and you look at the roster and say, hey, these guys are pretty good. So, yeah, more signees are coming in. These guys are motivated. Whoever joins this team and plays on this team after back-to-back years of finals losses, these guys are going to be super motivated to take that next step and get another cup. So, yeah, Carolina is going to have a bang up year, one way, shape, or form. A lot of chemistry that already exists. The check line is key. Again, right now, we're missing Salak, but if Panachek and Pastuca do come back, they are always huge contributors. And so I expect big things from Carolina once again, even though we only have maybe half the team signed currently. Again, it's a last minute thing. Just you wait. They could finish first. They could struggle a little bit and end up more like third place. What I think we're realistically looking at another second place finish. And mainly that is because of the Columbus River Dragons, who once again are going to be a real challenge to play against, especially in the regular season. But wait, there's a caveat. All right, offensively, these guys are stacked. Definitely making the team. Alexander Jemayev, 95 goals, 180 points, and 137 games played in the Fed. You have a couple of new to Columbus players. You got Stephen Klink coming back. Now, he actually started off as a River Dragon last year, and after 2 games was traded to Elmira and was Rookie of the Year. So Stephen Klink is going to be a big part of this offense. 67 points in 45 games last year. And then Jake Raleigh, getting Jake Raleigh back into the league. He is an amazing player. He's one of those X Factor kind of guys. Gives you lots of short-handed goals. He's got speed up the yin-yang. All right, he's very tough to play against. Very tough to knock the puck off of. 59 games played in the Fed. And he's got 5 short-handed goals already. Other players you're going to see on the roster: Cody Wickline, Hunter Bassani, of course Justin McDonald, Alex Storjahan, Austin Doe. Nobody thought he was going to be coming back, but he said, I want to give it one more year. Kyle Moore, he's going to be back. Other players that you may see on the roster earning a spot is Ty Moore, Dominic Kafka, possibly Justin Samaro, or Scott Doherty. We'll see. on the back end, they're set. They have more talent than they can deal with right now. So I would expect that they're probably going to be trading off a player or trying to trade off a player, which would be really really good for them and another team. Nathan Balkwell, he's on the team. Justin Popoff, or Jordan Popoff, excuse me, he's on the team. Connor Lynn comes over from Mississippi. Nolan Slaheta, plus 67. He's got a championship with the Wolves from 3 years ago. He's played excellent for the River Dragons. And then Eggers Oselinch, he's back with a toughness factor. 376 games played, and he's second all time in penalty minutes in the league with 1198. So he'll be crossing that 1,200 minute threshold. Kirk Underwood, he's going to be on the team. And so you got all these really good players vying for a spot, like Edgar Dolkart, who just got traded from Blue Ridge. Braden Harbison played very well for Blue Ridge for Baton Rouge, last year. You got Cordell Boyko, you have Brian Dunford. All these guys aren't going to make the team. So, an abundance of riches. Now, here's the caveat. Goaltending. Brendan Colgan gets traded to Baton Rouge. Just this last week, Hunter Verostic gets traded to Blue Ridge, or his rights at least. William Lavalier, who was looked at to be the number one guy, he's in Macon. So you have Trevor Roy, who played well at the USPHL Premier level. You have Phil-Antoine Trepanier, who played in the Maritime Junior Hockey League. Played pretty well there. And then you have the Japanese product, Tatsunishin Ishura, who played in Australia last year. I know, sounds strange, but Australian hockey is about the same level as what you would see in the second English league, not the EIHL, but I forget what the second league is called in Britain, but it's about that level. Had a fantastic year. So you got these three players coming in who have had good resumes, but they're unproven on the professional level. Is that going to potentially hold this team back? We will see. They've got more defensive talent than they know what to do with, and so that's going to help kind of pad and shelter that goaltending, any weakness that might be there. It's going to help. So we will see what happens. This is the most potent offense in the league. It has been for a couple of years now. It's going to be again. They're going to score more goals than anyone else. This is like the 1980s Edmonton Oilers. You're going to see a lot of 9-6 games with the River Dragons this year. But the solid defensive core, that's their strength, that's their depth. It should help carry them on. It's kind of the philosophy of the old Oilers. Score more goals than the other team. Give up one less goal than the other team. That seems to be the philosophy. The question is, though, and it's been asked every year, can they win the postseason? Last year, everyone thought they were a lock to make it to the finals, and then Carolina knocked them off. So, that question remains. Best case scenario, they finish first. Worst case scenario, the goaltending gives them a lot of problems. They have a hard time finding someone to plug in the crease. They bottom out to fourth place, which would be the fourth wild card. Most likely finish. Yeah, I have them penciled in as number one. The general philosophy for years in the FPHL has been scoring. The forwards get the most notoriety. There's not that much notoriety. At least there hasn't been up to this point with goaltending and defense. But yeah, so Columbus is just going on with the Fed philosophy. All right, so we have that. So just to recap with the Continental Division, this is the order that I think they're going to finish in. All right, we got the River Dragons. We just talked about them. Thunderbirds, probably a second. We talked about the Rock Lobsters. Again, right now I'm penciling them in for third. Monroe, we talked about last week. And they're going to have a very strong team. The Bobcats, I think, can squeak into that final playoff spot. And then just outside, you have Mississippi and Baton Rouge. But again, this division is so good and so competitive. I really think that these teams, if they were in the Empire Division, they'd probably finish fourth. So this is going to be a very tough division to win games in. So it's going to be a great year. That's what makes it great, is everyone's got a legitimate chance at making the playoffs, and you've also got the possibility of not making the playoffs. But yeah, it's going to be very competitive. So there we go. That wraps up our team previews. Let me know what you think. Give me your picks in the comments down below, and make sure you're hitting like and subscribe. I appreciate it. I appreciate your viewership. And yeah, we get into next weekend. Our next videos here on YouTube. We're going to be a week away from the start of the season. Very exciting. All right, next thing that we have coming up, of course, we have news and notes, which will be, as usual, on Facebook Live on Tuesday, somewhere around 8 o'clock in the morning. All right, thanks for watching once again, guys. Appreciate it. This is Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash.